Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this indie band chat. My name is Leonard with Indie Band Coach, and I am excited to be able to bring one of my friends here on screen with you today, just to be able to share some updates and some really timely resources with the devastation and things that are going on out in the LA area. Um, had a chance to work with Danny many times, and it's interesting to be in such a world right now where it's actually a victory where I'm able to say like this is someone I've actually met in person. So just as disconnected as we can be, and disconnected as we all are, there's still opportunities for us to be able to get involved and share. And that's just seeing some of Danny's stories and posts and things like that. I just wanted to be able to bring him on and answer questions and just share some updates. So I will get him on camera. And Danny, what's up, man?
What's happening, Leonard? Good to see you, man.
You too, man. Wish it was under better circumstances, of course, but always a good chance to catch up with you, man, and just pick your brain, and in this case, just hopefully be able to give some insights and some help to those in need, and those of us that want to help. So,
Sure.
but yeah, so before we dive into that specifically, just you know if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about what you do, and just kind of your connection to the industry, and specifically like the LA area, that'd be great, man.
Yeah. So I've been in the music industry. This is actually my 20th year. Um, mu- Multitude of different tasks in the music industry. Co-founded the D Squared Entertainment Group, which was a major concert promotion company, which ended up getting acquired by Live Nation several years ago. Moved to LA about 8 years ago with nothing more than a dream in my pocket. And, I say LA didn't just change my life, it really kind of built it for me. I met so many incredible people there. Um, I've been very fortunate to live a life that I never imagined that I could because of the connections that I made in the city. Um, and since then, mainly work as a record label president for Hitscope Records, which is a JV under Sony, and also as a marketing expert and consultant. I've worked on campaigns for Harry Styles, BTS, Silk Sonic, Metallica, Lenny Kravitz, the Beatles, a number of artists over the years,
Yeah,
and still doing that to this day. Um,
cool.
and that's my
Yeah,
role.
yeah, man. So you definitely just have a unique perspective, and obviously spending so long in LA, have just your you know ear to the ground on not just the artists and community, but the business side, and like just the impact of stuff like this. So you know what can you say, like, just knowing you know that I guess there's several larger wildfires that are going, but like, what's kind of the impact that something like this is going to have to, obviously to people's lives and all that, but the just creatives and the music industry itself.
Yeah, I mean, devastating is not even, seems like that word just doesn't really do it justice. It's really such a tragedy. A lot of the music industry does live in Pacific Palisades, and that entire city is gone.
Mhm,
Um, that entire city has been leveled, reduced to ash. A couple of homes here and there have magically survived, um,
mhm,
but well over 90% of that city is gone. That scenic drive up and down Pacific Coast Highway, PCH, which I know you've done a number of times. When I first moved to LA, I would take that drive all the time just for inspiration.
mhm.
sit on the beach and everything. Everything on PCH is gone.
Mm.
You know, towards the beginning, the further down you get, there's still some places left, but a lot of restaurants where we even had meetings are gone. The Real Inn, where I made so many connections at, is gone. Moon Shadows is gone. All those beautiful homes that were along there, and it's really, there's a lot of condominiums there too, which a lot of my friends lived in condominiums there. It's going to take years and years, if not a decade or more, to rebuild. And then across the city, there's Altadena, which Altadena has a lot of music people in it as well. It is not the same type of community. It's very hardworking, lower and middle class, and really hardworking people that live there. And that city's been devastated as well. There's been about 16,000 acres that burned. And when you combine the two fires together, a lot of people don't realize it's almost 50,000 acres. That's enough to burn the entire city of Manhattan two times over. That would burn almost half the state of Massachusetts. It's so devastating. I know a ton of friends and clients who have been displaced. A few lost their homes, some lost their pets. And it's really frustrating on social media to see the comments, because people are like, well, I would never leave my pet behind. You have to understand, like, for those of you who haven't been to LA, this happened very suddenly in the middle of the day. A lot of people were not home. I had a client who was working in downtown LA, and by the time he raced from downtown LA to Pacific Palisades, which was about an hour drive, everything was gridlocked. Weren't letting people in. They could not get to their homes to salvage anything. So a lot of people, only had the choking up a bit, but yeah, a lot of people only had just the shirts on their back, and it's been just unimaginable what people are going through. And there's not a lot of places to really get immediate assistance. I spent the first few days trying to help friends as much as I can, booking up hotel rooms, because it was impossible to get a hotel room anywhere. And some of them were, I think the first day, a lot of these hotel companies didn't really know what was going on. So there was price gouging for sure, because these hotel rooms were $700 a night to stay at, a 2-star hotel. So I was sitting there. I'm fortunate to have status with some hotel companies, and I was kind of leveraging that and, booking hotel rooms as they became available. So my friends had places to stay. But it's scary, man. And then in the Hollywood Hills, another fire broke out. And, that was very sudden. I was on the phone with one of my very best friends, Mike, and when that fire broke out, he was there, and he was like, I have to go. He hung up suddenly. It's just been tragic, man. There's a lot of stories that I've heard that are just really heartbreaking to just hear. And, seeing a city that really gives so much to so many people burning, you can't help but feel like a piece of you is burning with it.
Man. Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. I know we've got a lot of ties there, and I've text a few people, and I just talked to Heather this morning via text that she was able to go back to her house and stuff. But so with all of this, one of the things that struck me, and one of the reasons I was like, man, I really just want to hop on a live stream with you. Like, my first inclination was just to call you. I'm like, this could benefit more than just me, especially since I'm not actually in area. But one of the things that you posted on your stories yesterday, I believe, was about people starting GoFundMe pages, or artists starting GoFundMe pages. And you had some words of caution just in terms of how to post that or how to word that. Could you talk a little bit about that and just what they should look out for when they're creating those GoFundMes? Or I guess a follow-up question would be, if they've already created it, can they change it? Can they edit it based on that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, absolutely. If it is created, you can definitely edit it, and I suggest doing that ASAP. So basically, what happens is anytime FEMA is involved, FEMA cannot duplicate funds that you receive for something. So basically, if you start a GoFundMe, or in a lot of cases that I've been dealing with over the last 48 hours or so, friends have started GoFundMes for other friends who are, displaced, or, whatever the case may be. And they say, help so and so rebuild their home. If that's the case, then you're disqualified from receiving funds to rebuild your home from FEMA, which right now, it could potentially go up, but FEMA is given up to about close to $44,000 in assistance. So that would be a huge chunk. So, a lot of these GoFundMes aren't even anywhere close to that. They're getting $10,000 or so. So to be disqualified is really tough. So I've been offering to people that I can, review their GoFundMe for them, and suggest edits or make the edits if they want me to. In simple terms, the way to get around this is by keeping the language a bit ambiguous and having it be very broad. So instead of saying like, help me rebuild my home, you can say that you've lost everything, and that, this money will help you to get your life back on track, something like that. But it's really important that you don't specify what those funds are going towards, so that you can still qualify for the full benefit of FEMA.
And
They do check. FEMA will check. Before they pay out anybody, they do their due diligence for everyone, and that's why it does unfortunately take so long for them to pay out. But they will check. There's also been some people saying, well, maybe I can make more on GoFundMe. And while that's true, ideally you can qualify for both very easily, as long as the language is appropriate.
Cool. Thank you, man. That's a good tip. If you are watching, like, if you are watching, if you're in the area and you did want, if they did want you to take a look at their GoFundMe, even, with those tips, what would be the best way for them to hit you up? Would it be Instagram, or send you an email, or?
Yeah, either or. You can message me the link on Instagram. I have for once been checking my message requests very often, and then my email, goes right to all my devices. So I check my email a million times a day. So Danny@hitscope.com, or across social media, Danny Barros 4L.
Oh, there we go. And you said Danny at Hitscope, right?
Yep.
Hit Z
HITSKOPE.
SKOPE at hitscope.com.
Yep.
Good deal. Instagram. Here we go. Cool. MJRS Sports Cars. Thanks. All great information. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, if you are tuned in, just drop in the chat where you are tuning in from, or if you know folks that are in the LA area, please share this out to them as well. But I've got Danny's Instagram on the screen, Instagram.com, Danny Barros 4L, and then Danny at hitscope.com. Cool. Thank you for that. So yeah, definitely look into that if you are starting or have started a GoFundMe. I know a couple people, other artists that are okay, but they have several folks that they said are in dire straits. And the thing about this GoFundMe, obviously this live stream is somewhat you want to call it, somewhat geared towards musicians, especially with these, some of these resources that we're about to share. But I'm going to imagine that that GoFundMe / FEMA tip is good for anyone, not just obviously musicians. It's whoever is trying to get assistance. You can qualify for both.
Yeah, anybody affected by the wildfires that has a GoFundMe will want to make sure that language changes there, and that the language is broad and ambiguous, so that it doesn't disqualify you from FEMA.
Cool. Sweet. And so, the other thing that you shared, you had vetted several resources that I thought were, I never even thought about. I looked at the list and I'm like, oh man, I didn't know that they were doing stuff. Like there's some really good resources on there. Let's see. Oh, I put the link in the chat. I did a quick roll Billy for it. Let's see if I still got it in my, what do you want to call it? Music relief. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can share my screen. Let's see if this works. It will if I do this.
There you go.
Slides and PDF. Nope. All right. It's going to have me upload a file. Interesting. So with those lists, while I'm doing this and messing around with this, if we are not in the LA area and we want to help, what are some of the best ways? And let's say we don't know artists specifically that have GoFundMes that they're going to revise. But what are some of the best organizations that we can contribute to from a musical perspective if we want to make sure that it's getting to artists and musicians?
Yeah. Well, MusiCares is really just an incredible foundation. They do so much for musicians in need on a daily basis, not just during, horrible catastrophes like we're currently in. But MusiCares is incredible. It's run by the Recording Academy. They were one of the first to spring into action. They're offering, $1,500 in emergency financial assistance, as well as $500 grocery cards to everybody that's been affected. And they started doing that literally like the day after the fires broke out. They spring in. So MusiCares is great. There's also a number of companies that are much, much smaller that are still seeking donations so that they can offer assistance any way that they can. The Music Health Alliance, which is an incredible company that really supports musicians also on a daily basis by providing them health care, free health care wherever they can, dental care, prescription access, mental health care. What they're doing right now is they're actually offering temporary housing as well, which is incredible and very much needed. But they're also seeking donations. We Are Moving the Needle, which I believe is started by Emily Lazar, who's also a Recording Academy member. She's also seeking donations to help. So there's a number of companies on that list. The Sweet Relief Musicians Fund is another one seeking donations. There's a number of really great companies that are really stepping up right now and doing their best to give back to the community and help those in need. And there's so many musicians that are affected by this. And, it's just to put in perspective, like the reason why these donations help and why these companies are really stepping up to help and why it's so needed is that, some of these homes it may be 2 to 3 years before they're even able to start construction. So it's a lot, and FEMA is not immediate by any means necessary. So it's really important that and it's so commendable that just all of these companies have pitched in and are helping out so much. It's incredible to see the industry come together like this.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's and even some of the non-music related companies on here that I was, pleasantly surprised to see, like um, Toyota and U-Haul and Lyft and Uber and things like that. Just being
Yeah,
able to help out.
yeah. Toyota's offering free car rentals for anyone who may have lost their car um, as part of the damage. Culver City Toyota. U-Haul is offering free storage. I haven't had it on there, but I got an email today from Schleppers, which is a kind of like a U-Haul. They're a moving and storage company. They're offering to pick up any equipment or anything for free and hold it in storage.
Wow.
So I'll be adding that once we get off this call. But
Okay.
there's so many non-music industry related companies that are really stepping up to offer assistance in any way that they can. There's even some realtors that are waiving their fees. Some of them, a lot of realtors when they're renting in LA, some of them get like the first month's rent, and some of them are offering to waive that so that you can move in and get your first month for free.
Mm.
Until you can get some financial assistance to start paying rent. So it's really incredible to see the community come together like this. But I have to say, man, that's LA.
Yeah.
The city is really it's people that are full of grit. Moved to the city with nothing but dreams, and they're very resilient. And it's not
Yeah.
it's not the stigma that LA may get by you know some of the crazy comments that you see on social media, or most of them by people who have never even been to LA.
Mhm.
But it's really incredible seeing the entire city come together and help. And not even just in the music industry. When you look across the city and you see like all these encampments that have been built up, and taking donations and feeding people for free. Companies like In and Out have been feeding
Mm.
people free all week, feeding first responders all week.
Mhm.
So many companies, man. It restores your faith in humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, being out there the, 5 or so years we were out there, definitely have a different impression of, the area and just, the people and just how things come together. I mean, it's where I met you. Come on now.
That's right.
Um,
Right. That's
um,
where we met.
right. So yeah, man, this is great. And I will, I've dropped it in the chat, but wherever this stream is loaded, I will make sure that the link to the resources are there, and I'll get it back up in the stories again. But thank you, man, for just taking the time to share this info, and just get this info out to help the community in general, but obviously specifically musicians. You talked about restaurants. I'm just thinking about venues too, like not just you know homes, but like literally places to play. And I haven't heard specifically of specific venues, but I can't imagine um, I can't imagine just all of the widespread just scope of this whole thing. So it's
Yeah. I mean, there's been over 15,000 structures burned
oh man.
in total, and that was the number that was days ago. So I mean, I'm sure it's a lot higher now, but
Mhm.
uh, and it's not just homes or retail stores. It's certainly venues, and like I said before, some of the most iconic restaurants along PCH, where so many connections have been made and everything, particularly in the music industry, are nothing more than ash now. It's It's heartbreaking, but I am updating this list throughout the day. I did get quite a few emails today, some other places that I've been vetting out. But I do recommend that if you are affected, you take advantage of what all of these companies have to offer. Reach out and you start making the calls and emails, or have someone do it on your behalf. But these are some great companies. I did vet them all. There are a lot of lists that are going around, and unfortunately, some people let people edit their own lists. So there's been a lot of stuff on there that hasn't been true. So I went through a ton of resources. I took like the top 30 or so and put them into this list.
Cool. Dude, yeah, and there's links and contact info. I think I've seen several emails on there as well. So this is great, man. Cool. Man, I appreciate you, man. Always good to talk. We should, talk again and even not only just to catch up, but even maybe do an update here in a couple weeks, just to see how things are going, or if there's any new info or new resources that we can share. But man, thank you for your time, dude.
One thing to mention too, the Recording Academy sent out an email yesterday to members, letting them know that the Grammys is actually going to be the Grammys broadcast is actually going to be a live fundraiser too for MusiCares this year. So it will be an opportunity for those who are watching the Grammys to be able to donate through there as well. I'm sure they'll have a text link or something where you'd be able to donate.
That's great. Cool. Yeah, dude, that's some great info. What day are the Grammys? At the week of the
It's February 2nd.
Second. Gotcha. Oh, that's a couple weeks. Okay.
So a couple weeks away.
Cool. All right, man. I appreciate you, dude.
Good to see you, Leonard.
Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, we'll chat again, and thanks again for the resources. And guys, if you have any questions, wherever you're seeing this, please drop questions in the comments, and I'll get them to Danny, and we'll go from there, everybody. All right, everyone. Stay strong, stay blessed, and we will chat soon.